All right, guys, this is a test and review of the Kingchii 16-liter electronic humidor. Now, I've done a lot of humidor reviews, and one of the reasons I wanted to get this one and try it is because of the size. So a lot of the electronic humidors are much bigger. They usually range like 24, 25 liters or more. And this one is much smaller. It's not going to hold as many cigars. So if you're the kind of person who maybe you don't want to have 100 cigars, maybe you only keep 2 or 3 dozen, you would want something more this size if you're looking for something with like a temperature control. So this unit, it does control temperature, but it does not control humidity as well. It's just temperature control, so we got to keep that in mind. We still need to use like Boveda packs or one of those like humidifier bars or something to help us humidify the inside, and this will just control the temperature. So this is thermoelectric. It is not compressor driven. It's going to be using like a Peltier module. So what that means is it's not as powerful as like a compressor, like a refrigerator. So something like this, you have to keep in a kind of a temperature controlled environment, like a home or office or something like that. You don't want it to get extreme heat or extreme cold because the module is not efficient or powerful enough to actually get to the temperature you want if it's going from an extreme. So if you're here in Ohio and you stick this out in your garage in the middle of winter and you're trying to set it to 70 degrees, it's not ever going to get there. Or if you're in Texas and you sit it in your garage in the middle of a summer, it's not going to get down to 70 because it's going to be too wide of a range. Keep this in your home or somewhere where you're running your heat in your air or whatever, and you should be just fine. And we're going to test this out. We're going to see if it can get to temperatures. We're down here in my basement. I usually run between 66, 68 degrees down here. So we're going to see how it does. Now, one thing I want to point out is you look at this from straight on, and this looks pretty small. I mean, it's not very tall, it's not very wide, but it does have a pretty good length. So I actually want to get the measurements of this for you guys. So the length on this is 20 inches. So it's 20 inches long. It is just a tick over 13 inches high. And 10 inches wide. So there you go. All right, so we'll give this a quick look over. It's very dark. It's got like a tinted window. It is tempered glass, of course. It's got that nice rubber seal. That's the good thing about the electronic humidors, because they're kind of like refrigerators or the wine refrigerators and stuff like that. Is they all like seem to really hold humidity well because they're just designed with that rubber seal to make sure it's closed and nothing's getting out. All right, so it comes with the 2 drawers inside. The first one's a deeper drawer. It has walls. That's nice. They are. It's got that cedar, that Spanish cedar smell. And it comes with this little cup, and this is to hold water. If you want to put distilled water in there or to do your humidity. Now, I don't like the idea of taking up space in my drawer where I should have cigars with a cup. I'm not going to use that to humidify this. Once we're really into it, I'm going to use Boveda packs. But I will use this when I season it. So that's the bottom drawer, and then we have our top one, which is really just a platform. They do these platforms. I really wish they would have just double-walled drawers because it's harder to stack cigars on these platforms. You move them around, they could roll off. I mean, this didn't even have a lip on it. I really wish it was like 2 of these instead of 1 of these and 1 of those. But again, this one's pretty long. It's the same length. It's the same length as our drawer, just no walls. So I think it says it's rated to hold 100 cigars, but I'm going to bet it's going to be more like 80 max. Inside, we have our fan, and this is where we're going to be. It's going to blow to cool off, and it's going to absorb heat and expel it out when when it gets too hot. So pretty simple. So the first thing I'm going to do is I need to just get these seasoned. It won't be hard. I mean, we're just talking about the drawer and the platform. I'm going to put some distilled water inside this little cup, and I'm going to let it sit for a day. and I expect the humidity to get up to where we need it. So I'm going to get this ready and I'll be back. All right, guys, I'm back. So we're going to season this humidor. Now, whenever you're seasoning a humidor or doing anything with the humidor, only use distilled water. You don't want to use regular water like mineral water or anything like that because it could end up causing mold. So we have distilled water. We put it in this little container, and I added a sponge, just kind of soak it up and release it. So you always use a new unused sponge. Now this does come with a analog hygrometer, but we don't know if it's correct. So I'm going to use one of my hygrometers. I'm going to put in here with it so I can know if it's at the correct humidity. Once we hit about 75%, it'll be good. So I'm going to stick this in here along with my hygrometer, and we'll be back in 24 hours. All right, guys, I am back with the Kingchii 16-liter electric humidor. Now, I think I forgot to mention it in the first video. When I first unboxed this, the first thing I did is I took out the trays, and it had a slight plasticky smell. So I took distilled water and a clean cloth, and I just wiped it down really good on the inside, and I let that sit with the door open for 24 hours, and then that smell was kind of gone, just dissipated, wasn't there anymore. So I did that before I went in and did this step where I was seasoning it. So we're going to check now, see where we're at. It's been about 24 hours since I put in the tray. And we are at 74% humidity. So we're good here. We've been seasoned. We're going to take this out. All right, so we're ready to move to our next step. We're actually going to test the temperature control on this. Currently it is 68 degrees down here, and what we're going to do is we're going to set this at the highest temperature possible to see if this can, in fact, heat up the humidor. So I am going to place some Boveda packs in here to see what the humidity stays at. I'm going to put my hygrometer, it also has the temperature on it, back in. And so 74 is the upper setting here. We're going to put this on 74 degrees, and we're going to give it 3 or 4 days, probably 3 days. I'll go 3 days and kind of see where our temperature gets to. All right, I am back with the Kingchii 16-liter electronic humidor. We've let this sit for the last 5 days at 74 degrees. We're testing the upper levels of its temperature control. And 73 degrees. So we're just 1 degree off between what I had inside on my thermometer and hygrometer inside and what we have it set at. Pretty good. We're very close there. So now we're going to put some cigars in here, and we are going to test it at our desired temperature, and we're going to be adding Boveda packs for the humidity control, and we're going to see how the humidity does. I've got cigars in here now, and I'm going to add Boveda packs for humidity control, since this is temperature control only. And we're going to see how it does over the next 5 or so days. We'll add in our hygrometers and hygrometer thermometer. We are going to set it at 70 degrees. So when I turn on the light, you can't really hardly see the light to begin with. It's so dark, but with cigars in there, it blocks it even more. So that's just something you can point out. The light's not super effective in this model. Yeah, we're going to set this at 70 degrees, and we're going to see how it does in about 5 days. All right, so I've let this Kingchii humidor, 16 liters, sit for the last 5 days, set at 70 degrees. Let's go ahead and check it out. And we are reading 69.4 degrees and 67% humidity. So it's doing good. I mean, it's supposed to control temperature. I had it set to 70, 69.4. You're right, you're like less than a degree off there. So yeah, it is working, doing a good job holding that temperature. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take these drawers and this platform. I'm going to see how many cigars I think I can realistically hold in this. So I'm going to be testing this out using Toro size cigars because Churchill's do not fit kind of the short way. You would have to put them in the long way. There's obviously going to be less of those that you hold, but I'm going to see with Toros. Okay, I've got 64 cigars in this drawer. They are essentially Toro size and length. There's some, torpedoes and things like that. There's some Robustos, but they're varying ring gauges. I've got some like Gordos and some regular size. So 64, and we see that drawer fits in there. I filled it all the way to the top of the wall, and then another row on top of that, which I still felt was safe. I wouldn't go any higher. I think they would just be falling over. So 64 in the drawer, and now we're going to move to the shelf. All right, so on the top shelf, I've put 28 cigars. That's about as sturdy as I think it would be. There's the issue they could roll off. There's no lip on the front or the sides. I got 28 stacked there that I feel are stable. So you're looking about 82 cigars total. Although I will say on the top shelf, Churchill's will fit long ways. So you could store your Churchill's up top. So there you go. My final thoughts on the Kingchii electronic humidor. 16 liter. This is a humidor that is supposed to control the temperature. And it does that. It stayed right around 70 degrees when I had it set there. When I was trying the upper levels, it stayed around there. When I went to the lower levels, it kept it cool. So it did a great job on temperature control. Humidity control, again, you have to use your humidifier bars or Boveda packs, something like that. This does not control humidity on its own. It's got a kind of sleek, black, modern design. It looks nice. Now the light is on right now. You can't really see. It's got that tinted window front, but so it's not going to be the most lit up and visible when it's closed. It held a decent amount of cigars for its size. I would say this would be a really nice humidor for someone who wants something that's temperature controlled, but they don't plan to have a whole bunch of cigars. I mean, you're going to have, maybe you keep 2 or 3 boxes worth around. This is a good choice for you. Obviously, if you're going to have a large cigar collection, you're just going to need a larger humidor. So yeah, there you go. A good little temperature controlled humidor. Works well. All right, guys, thanks for watching.